What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. And join us now as Wrestlelamia brings you the wildest wrestling news and rumors you need to know, including Raw's post-Survivor Series ratings, why Seth Rollins is in the WWE doghouse, a WWE Raw Superstar signs a multi-year deal, Mauro Ranallo not working tonight, an unhappy AEW star, and Vince is done with the WWE Superstar. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for the latest wrestling news. Let's waste no further time and get straight into the first story, as Raw's Survivor Series ratings slump. Now, post-pay-per-view shows typically get a bump in the ratings, but this didn't happen with the 25th November edition of Monday Night Raw. Dave Shearer of PW Insider is reporting, the 25th November edition of Raw brought in 2.109 million overnight viewers for this week's show, down from last week's 2.127 million overnight viewers. The Survivor Series didn't provide a bump for the show. They should have benefited from a lower Monday Night Football audience due to the Ravens blowing out the Rams. The game brought in 10.925 million overnight viewers, down from last week's 12.567 million overnight viewers. While the ratings drop was negligible, the WWE was likely hoping for some sort of bump after an action-packed Survivor Series. But then again, Raw was the losing team. Looking at the table of ratings from the past 3 weeks, once again Raw lost viewers as the show progressed. Further evidence the show just isn't compelling enough to keep viewers tuned in. What will it take for the WWE to keep viewers tuned in throughout the show? It's also interesting to note that even though the Lana, Bobby Lashley and Rusev storyline is pretty much the worst thing going in the WWE right now, it's still getting a ton of views on YouTube, even more than the ending of the show. Weird. But whilst WWE have also had a drop in ratings, they also continue to have attendance problems. Apparently the WWE needs to figure out how to boost its Raw ticket sales too if the post-Survivor Series show is any gauge. According to Ringside News, WWE will often bring out huge black tarps to cover over empty seats. That way it looks like a solid black sheet instead of visible empty seats. They had to break out extra tarps last night. The company brought their 4th show to Chicago for last night's Raw. It appears a lot of the fans decided to skip Raw after Survivor Series. 4 shows in one place is definitely too much, so there's no surprise that Raw's attendance was tanking. The WWE may need to be more careful about overbooking shows in the same market unless it wants poor results again. The promotion struggled with ticket sales throughout the summer and should have known better going into Survivor Series than to overbook a market, no matter how strong they think it is. Next up, Seth Rollins' status. Is he heel or babyface? While it appears Seth Rollins is now a heel, the WWE seems to be taking its time with the heel turn. During a recent edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Brian Alvarez speculated, yes, Seth Rollins has turned heel. I know a lot of times we see these weird storylines and such on Raw, and I think somebody has turned heel, and I'm told, no, they're still a babyface or whatever. This is definitely a heel turn for Seth Rollins. This is not like a slow turn that they're doing right now. This is his idea, this is his character. He is a heel who thinks he's right. I guess he thinks he's 1997 Bret Hart. The Seth Rollins character thinks that you the fans are being unfair to WWE, so he's gonna wrestle like a babyface while burying you. That seems to be the plan. I guess we'll see what they do next week. While his observation is interesting, the WWE may also be going the Bayley route, with Rollins denying his heel status until he goes full-blown heel. But is there any better way of showing that you're a heel with a huge ego? For more on why we think WWE turned Rollins heel, check out a recent video on the subject. But continuing on with more Seth Rollins news, yesterday we reported that Vince McMahon was furious with Seth Rollins calling out CM Punk. Well, even though he didn't exactly name drop him, any idiot can tell that he was directing his comments to CM Punk. Whilst many don't believe the rumor that Vince McMahon was furious, you might want to take into account that WWE deleted this segment in their YouTube video. The situation mirrors the one from earlier this year when Sami Zayn mentioned AEW during an episode of Raw. It seems that Vince McMahon really doesn't want any attention on this. But speaking of CM Punk, AEW World Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho recently spoke with Uproxx about a number of subjects, including wrestling's hottest free agent CM Punk. Here's what Le Champion had to say about Punk's return to wrestling. It's a long time coming. We knew there would be a Motley Crue reunion, and we knew CM Punk would come back to wrestling. It was just a matter of time. I think he came back with more of a sigh than a scream. It seems kind of funny that he came back on a show that drew 150,000 viewers, where it could have been 5 million viewers. But if it's part of a process to slowly wean him into the wrestling business, then good. The WWE sure needs him. You need stars in the business. Good for him coming back. I just think it was not as big as it could have been or should have been. He's back for the first time in 5 years and no one really cares. But I'm really sure it will lead to more. I don't see how it can't. When asked when Punk not signing with AEW was a disappointment, Jericho had an interesting answer. I'm not disappointed. I know there were some conversations, but Punk's his own guy. Could we have used him? Yes. Does it hurt us not to have him? No, not at all. Next up, Lana's got that Vince money as she signs a multi-year deal. It looks like Lana will be staying in the WWE for a few more years. In an exclusive story, Ryan Satin reported, Pro Wrestling Sheet has learned the ravishing Russian Lana signed a new WWE contract. Sources tell us the WWE star recently came to terms with the company on a new 5-year agreement that both sides are happy with, and this week she officially put pen to paper. According to sources, Lana's new deal allows her to take time off for outside projects like the movie she and Rusev produced/acted in called Another Version of You, which is available now on iTunes and VOD platforms. Lana celebrated a new deal via Twitter, announcing, "I just signed a multi-million-dollar deal with WWE. Congrats." While her husband Rusev has yet to re-up with the WWE, it seems it's only a question of time. Satin notes, Rusev, however, has not signed a new deal. We're told the Bulgarian brute is still in the midst of ongoing discussions relating to a new contract. Of course he'll bloody sign. He may be just holding out for a little bit more money. Next up, Eric Bischoff discusses Jim Cornette's latest controversy. The man who lived by the adage, controversy creates cash, recently commented on Jim Cornette's resignation from the NWA following his controversial joke, and it would seem that there are times when controversy doesn't create cash. During an episode of his podcast 83 Weeks, Eric commented, Jim is a guy that is reluctant to adapt, and it's really unfortunate because he's a talented guy. He's an entertaining guy and he's a very knowledgeable guy. But if you're not willing to grow and evolve and to understand the implications of some of the things that you do and say and how it affects other people adversely, then you're going to be put out to pasture. I hope that doesn't happen with Jim, but apparently that's kind of what it appears to be. I don't know where he goes from here. Who's going to hire him? At this point, probably nobody. Next up, Bill Goldberg is selling his home. If you're looking for an unusual piece of wrestling memorabilia, how about one of WWE Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg's homes? Check out this affordably priced deal. With its 4,630 square feet, the single-level 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom resort-style home comes with a large kitchen and family room and airy vaulted ceilings in the dining room, living room and office. Big Bad Bill is listing his Eagle Mountain estate for just $3.2 million. And for those of you on the fence, the estate includes a 20-car garage. Maybe that's where you'll be living when the foreclosure arrives. Next up, Mauro Ranallo is not on NXT tonight. Now, we covered the recent controversy surrounding Corey Graves and Mauro Ranallo in a few videos, so we won't recap here, but Michael Cole did cover for Ranallo at the Survivor Series and told that he will be returning on NXT. However, that doesn't seem to be the case though, as John Pollock of Post Wrestling tweeted that he will not be on tonight's show. It seems like this could be more serious, so perhaps those who are backing Graves might want to reevaluate how hurtful those comments really were. Graves really wins the Clown of the Year award here. Next up, an AEW wrestler is not happy. Moving on to AEW, it seems that one wrestler in particular isn't happy with his booking in the company. In a now deleted tweet, Bad Boy Joey Janela wrote, "Didn't get on my flight for AEW Wrestling Dynamite tonight. I'm not going. Nothing was addressed about the way I was eliminated from the match last week. I'm losing all the steam I created on my own through 14 years of hard work. Right these wrongs and answer the phone." Whilst this could be a complete work and tie into a storyline, it wouldn't explain why he deleted the tweet. And our last story, Vince is done with the WWE Superstar. Humberto Carrillo was enjoying quite the push on Raw, getting several high-profile matches against AJ Styles and Seth Rollins and looking strong, despite not always coming out on top. Unfortunately, it looks as if Korea's push is dead on arrival, as during an episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, Brian Alvarez commented that Vince is done with Humberto Carrillo for the time being. He's giving him the Cedric Alexander. Like, you're still gonna see him on TV. I'm sure he's gonna win here and there, but like, it's exactly like Cedric Alexander. He got a few weeks, Vince thought he wasn't getting over, so he's done. If Vince McMahon has soured on Carrillo, it's yet another example of the promotion's failure to make more than a handful of stars, all due to McMahon's mercurial nature. But there you have it guys, the latest wrestling news. What do you guys think on Vince McMahon's decision? Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.